Royals congratulated the Twins for winning the division and then beat them up, scoring 22 runs and winning the series. Tampa Bay comes to town shortly after sipping their own champagne. What do the Royals have in store for them? Game 1 is next on Fox Sports Kansas City. Zach Greinke's last chance to win 10 games this year is tonight, and all he has to do is beat the Tampa Bay Rays, who have the best record in the American League. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Kauffman Stadium with Royals Hall of Famer Frank White. I'm Ryan Lefevre. And Tampa Bay comes to Kansas City in a very similar situation as the Minnesota Twins, recently finding out that they're going to the postseason, but they still have something to play for.
They really do, Ryan. They're playing for the division championship. They want to beat the Yankees and get that home field advantage, and they'll be playing their big guns here in this weekend series against Kansas City.
The Rays have a half-game lead over the Yankees, who will not play tonight. They will begin a 3-game series in Boston tomorrow and finish up over the weekend. So the Rays are going for the division, and they're going for home field advantage throughout the American League playoffs. They'll have to beat Zach Greinke, who had one of his best starts of the season against Tampa Bay early in the year. He's never beaten them. Here's the Kia report.
Well, there should be a lot of incentive in this game tonight for Zach. He's going to be facing the best they have to put on the field tonight, and it should keep him in the game, and he wants to be competitive in this last start of the season.
All right, enough of the serious stuff. Let's get to the fun stuff. And if you've been with us for the past couple years, you know all about the list. We'll get down to the finalists for 2010 when we come back. Royals Baseball is brought to you by Kia Motors. To learn more, visit kia.com. By Kellogg's, the best to you each morning. And by the Missouri Lottery. It's been a tough year for the Royals, but for an ego boost, there are times when they make other players in the major leagues look like less than major leaguers. It's a 3-round process. It's called the list. Let's review round number 1. And the way it works out, Frank and I will agree on one. And from early in the season, we agreed on this swing from Mike Lowell that should make the list. Frank took this one from Casey Kochman, and I selected Grady Sizemore. So those are the 3 finalists from round 1. Now to round 2. And this is Frank's selection. That is a swing, I think, from Joey Votto. We agreed on Yadier Molina doing everything he can to make contact, and I took Alex Rios. So those are the finalists from round 2. Let's take a look at round 3. So there you go, Frank. I'm going to go with Vladimir Guerrero for round 3. How about you?
Right, I'm going to go with Delman Young, and I believe we both are going to agree on Coco Crisp.
So there are the 3 finalists from round 3. Tomorrow, we're going to have 3 for you to vote on, you the fans. Who is the top of the list of 2010? We can tell you this, one guy who is not going to be on the list, the way he swung the bat the last couple games, is Kila Kaihue, who has 3 home runs. That was in the final 2 games against Minnesota. He faces Matt Garza in the Rays tonight, and the first pitch is next. In high definition, brought to you by Time Warner Cable, where HD is free with digital cable. Joe Madden and the Tampa Bay Rays with a half-game lead in the American League East, and here's his lineup, presented by M&I Bank, and they've had their share of changes since we last saw them, which was at the end of April and then early May. Carl Crawford now bats third. The catcher, John Jaso, hits leadoff. Third baseman Evan Longoria has been out of the lineup for about a week because of a sore thigh muscle, and he is still out. Zach Greinke back on May the 2nd had one of his best starts of the year against the Rays, going 8 innings, giving up just 1 earned run. He only made 87 pitches in 8 innings, but he made 1 mistake. He hung a curveball to Evan Longoria, who hit a home run, and that was all the offense in the game as Tampa Bay won 1-0. Rookie catcher John Jaso takes inside. 1 ball, no strikes.
You know, Ryan, this is one of those games where Zach's playing against a team that's already clinched a playoff spot and really vying for a division win. So this should be one where he really should be able to get up for this game.
And he has never beaten the Tampa Bay Rays. Jaso hits a big one-hopper to Billy Butler. He's to the bag and 1 away. And this wonderful weather continues in Kauffman Stadium and in Kansas City. In fact, the forecast not only shows no rain, it shows no clouds. 67 degrees at first pitch. We started on time at 7:10. Time and temp brought to you by the parking spot. Easy to spot, easy to park. The parking spot at KCI. So 1 out to switch hitting Ben Zobrist. And Zach drops a curveball in for strike 1. So Zobrist playing at third base while Evan Longoria is still out. Word is that the Rays would like to get him in for a couple of games in this series, but at the same time they want to make sure that leg heals for the playoffs.
Well, that's the most important right now. Once you've secured a spot, you got to make sure your big guys are ready to go when you get in there.
And he is a big guy in more ways than one. Longoria hitting just below 300, 22 home runs, 104 RBIs, 46 doubles. One ball, 2 strikes. And now Zach strikes out Zobrist. Here are the Royals defensively tonight, and in the outfield it's Alex Gordon, Gerard Dyson, and Gregor Blanco will be in right field tonight. On the infield, Wilson Betemit, Yuniesky Betancourt, Mike Aviles, and Billy Butler. And behind the plate is Brian Pena, who sat out the entire Minnesota series as Lucas May was behind the plate. And Zach throws a strike at 96 miles an hour to Carl Crawford. So 1K tonight, 173 this year for Zach. And he gets Crawford to move his feet. 1-1.
Well, that takes somebody with feet as quick as Carl Crawford to get out of the way of that pitch. That's behind his legs, and he in that unorthodox stance that he starts with, and be able to get out of the way of that pitch shows a lot of quickness.
Late on the fastball, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Last night was the Rays' last home game, so the baseball writers announced their award winners, and they named Carl Crawford the Rays Player of the Year. Pena tags him out to complete the strikeout, and Zach strikes out 2 in the first. Royals took 2 out of 3 from Minnesota, and the Royals lineup is presented by M&I Bank. Jarrod Dyson has been struggling lately. He had 0 for his last 10, just 1 for 12 during the Minnesota series. So Gregor Blanco will lead off. Dyson will bat 9th. Blanco plays in right field. And the Royals face right-hander Matt Garza. And here's the Kia report.
Well, this guy can be tough, Ryan. He's going for his 15. Well, he's got his career high 15 wins in 2010. So he did beat the Royals back in May, but he's winless in 3 starts here at Kauffman Stadium. So tonight for the Royals, if you look at that first time through, 236, maybe a little patience.
And that win for Garza was his first ever against the Royals. So he had very similar problem that Zach Greinke has had with Tampa Bay. Zach hasn't pitched all that badly against the Rays, but hasn't had much run support, and consequently doesn't have a win against Tampa Bay. And the same was true for Garza until April the 29th. So Gregor Blanco, who appeared only once in the Twin series, as the Royals got a long look at Jarrod Dyson in center field and as the leadoff hitter. Blanco did pinch hit in the 9th inning last night and singled against Matt Capps. And the Royals had runners at first and second with nobody out in the 9th inning. But Capps was able to shut the Royals down from that point, and Minnesota hung on 4-2. Blanco is seeing Matt Garza for the first time. No balls, 2 strikes. Joel did some exhaustive research and passed it along. When the Royals were in St. Petersburg, April the 29th through May the 2nd, they played 4 games in Tampa Bay. And there are only 2 Royals in the lineup tonight that played in that whole series. 2. Garza slipping all over the grass. Couldn't grab it and then couldn't recover because he slipped. And Blanco's at first with nobody out.
But this is a play really that a pitcher's got to be able to make to really help himself here. This is a nice little hop. He just overreached for the ball and really almost did some damage to his right knee, the way his body was awkward after he missed this ball here. But a very catchable ball, a very makeable play. You can see how that knee bent down behind him there. So that could have, simple play could have turned out to be a tragic play.
Garza was going to have to go to the bag himself because Pena took himself out of the play by going for that ground ball. So Blanco and his 10 stolen bases at first base for hot-hitting Mike Aviles, who takes an aggressive swing at the first pitch from Garza. Mike with a 7-game hitting streak, 5 hits in the Minnesota series. He scored 4 times and had 2 stolen bases. No balls, 2 strikes. So a good series overall for Aviles against the Twins, although he probably didn't leave feeling very good last night, as he was unable to get the bunt down in the bottom of the 9th inning when the Royals had runners at first and second and nobody out, and that turned that inning around.
That's a long night when you fail to do that, because when you don't do that, the game's on the line. So you have a direct bearing on the outcome of the game when you don't get a bunt down in the 9th inning. So it probably was a long night for Mike.
He went around and strikes out. 1 away in the bottom of the first. Rays have been very good defensively this year. They have the 3rd fewest errors in the American League. So they have an exciting offense for sure. But you can't discount their pitching and defense. They have the 2nd lowest ERA and a very good defense. So Billy Butler with 1 on 1 out. And Garza throws high for ball one. Billy with 3 hits in the Minnesota series. One of those hits was a double. That was last night, giving him 94 the last 2 years, and that's a Royals record for doubles in consecutive seasons. 2 balls, no strikes. Billy now at 184 hits, which is the 4th most in the American League. And a slider on 2-0. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Well, Billy putting it together back-to-back seasons, Ryan, sort of solidifies the fact that he can hit at this level, and it's going to be a matter with him is how his power numbers come along to go with his hits and his average. They all kind of how they're going to all come together, but he's definitely going to hit for more power as he goes.
Blanco is running. Butler gets it through the right side, and the Royals have runners at first and third.
Blanco gets a good jump off first base, but this is what makes Billy Butler special right here, Ryan. This is the pitch out over the plate. He just stays right with it, hits it right through the hole, and he's just 2 kind of hitters in one. You know, he can play the small game. He can hit and run if you want him to hit and run, but he can also turn the ball around and get it out of the ballpark. And that's, you can just see Blanco had a great jump, and no need to stop when the ball's behind you. You get to turn at second and all the way to third base.
Ball 1 to TBA AT KCA. 5 hits in the Twins series, including 3 home runs, and he drove in 6. This is his first at bat against Garza.
And Garza's in danger of allowing his first run. In his last 17 starts, he hadn't allowed a first inning run,
which is the second longest streak.
Nice streak.
Matt Latos, someone who very few people had heard of before this year, but because of the way the Padres have played and the way they pitched, Matt Latos of the Padres has a streak of 22 consecutive starts without allowing a run in the first inning.
That's really just being efficient right from the first pitch of the game.
Started to go after the curveball. The Rays want an appeal, and it's no swing, according to third base umpire Wally Bell. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Nice block by John Jaso, and Joel and I had a chance to talk to Joe Madden, the manager of the Rays, who is one of the most delightful guys to be around in the American League. And man, he went on and on about John Jaso. Hit to Pena, and thought about coming to the plate, but the only out is at first, so Garza's streak is broken, and the Royals have a 1-0 lead.
Pena did a good job of bouncing off and taking that hole away, Ryan. Had a hard time. The ball got up and in on him and just couldn't handle it, and then lost his play at the plate. He had 2 chances right there. One to go for the double play if he feels it cleanly, and then after he bobbled, he looked home but just didn't have time to go to the plate.
So Butler at second base with 2 outs, and Wilson Betemit takes ball 1 low. So Billy helps set up the run with his base hit, getting Blanco over to third base. Betemit had been out of the lineup since Saturday and returned last night and was 0 for 4 and showed some rust after that 3-game layoff, and he was late on that fastball. 1 ball, 1 strike. Betemit still batting at .307, trying to get Butler home from second base. Jaso over to his own dugout. but it is in the dugout, and it's 1-2. In St. Petersburg at the end of April and early May, the Royals and Rays split a 4-game series. And in that series alone, the Royals had one more win than they did all of last year against Tampa Bay. The Rays were 9-1 against the Royals in 2009. Still 1-2 on Betamit. The Rays, by having a winning season this year, and they're 30 games over 500 right now, they're just the 7th team in Major League history to have 7 straight, let me take that back, 10 straight losing seasons, followed by 3 straight winning seasons. And that all happened very quickly. Betamit down on strikes. The Royals get a run against Garza in the first. Back on May the 2nd at St. Petersburg, when Zach gave up 1 run in 8 innings but lost 1-0, and he had an impressive first inning, getting the side in order with 2 strikeouts. Dan Johnson leads off the second and takes ball 1. Last time we saw the Rays, Pat Burrell was still their designated hitter, and that didn't work out for Burrell or the Rays. The Rays lost to Philadelphia in the World Series in 2008. They needed a right-hand bat last year, and Pat Burrell was with the Phillies, so they signed him to a 2-year contract, which cost the Rays $16 million combined last year and this year, and their return on that investment was 16 home runs for $16 million. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Johnson.
Well, we talked about it between innings. Foxtrot shows us through Chevrolet that Zach has really got it going with his pitches down in the zone today. Great change up there, and just a good location. I think Pat Burrell now with San Francisco, I think he has 20 home runs.
He's doing all right for them, yeah. He and the American League were not a good fit. Three balls and 2 strikes on Johnson. Former Nebraska Cornhusker. And he takes a leadoff walk. Tonight's number for our Take the Field sweepstakes is 23. And if you'd like to win a pair of replica Royals jerseys, go to foxsportskansascity.com during tonight's game. and enter the sweepstakes, including number 23. There's a jersey winner every game, and one fan will throw out the first pitch at a game next year. There's this year's number 23. And you played with a famous Royals number 23. Fouled away by Carlos Pena.
I remember Steve Mangori wore 23.
Royals Hall of Famer.
Got a little help on this one, so Gooby.
Mark Gubiza.
I think 22 kept sticking in my head, but that was Leo. So.
Pena jammed, but still able to muscle it out to medium deep left field. Alex Gordon makes the play, and Dan Johnson is back to first base. Zach Greinke's last start had everyone scratching their heads. It was Saturday night at Cleveland, and he looked like he had no hit stuff. I mean, the Indians were all mixed up in the first 2 innings, but they got 3 runs in the third, 4 in the fourth, and just like that, Zach was out of the game. Gave up 11 hits, 7 runs. That was the most hits he had allowed in a game in 2 years. And nobody had an explanation. It wasn't one of those games where Zach, Bob McClure, or Ned Yost felt like he didn't have his A game. In fact, it was the exact opposite, but the Indians were on to him.
Yeah, that was one game we didn't televise that game, so I was listening on radio, and the number one words out of my mouth was, "What happened?" Because it looked like he was on that night.
Somehow Matt Joyce did not get hit by that pitch. Talk about good footwork.
I mean, it almost like it was behind him, and it just. Wow. That's even a tough pitch, for the catcher to catch when it's over in the other batter's box.
Two balls and 1 strike on Matt Joyce. A .232 hitter. But against Zach Greinke, he is 3 out of 5 with a home run. Changeup. So a fastball swing on a changeup, and he was way out in front.
Changeup's just got good movement. It's got good hard movement down. That would be that power changeup, throwing 87, 89 miles an hour.
Blocked by Brian Pena. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
I'm kind of thinking that's an awful hard changeup. I know our radar gun must be a little high. I mean, changeup 89 miles an hour. That's a slider 89. You can see that before you could see a changeup at 89.
Well, the popular thing, and this goes back to Ramon Ramirez being here 2 years ago, is the power changeup. That's a strikeout, and Johnson is able to steal second base. So Joyce is called out on strikes, and Zach has 3 strikeouts, 2 down. Let's take a look at tonight's You Call It, presented by Sprint. Similar to last night's game when we talked about the Twins, tonight, who do you think will have the biggest impact for the Rays in the playoffs? Carl Crawford, who's having a career year. Evan Longoria has driven in 104. David Price, who will pitch game 1, or Rafael Soriano, who leads the league in saves. Strike 1 to B.J. Upton. So text 432-432, enter keyword Royals, then a space, A, B, C, or D. Standard text rates apply. And B.J. Upton looks like he has no chance against Zach Greinke. No balls, 2 strikes. And in his career against Zach, he's just 2 out of 13. And he is a big strikeout candidate with 159. That is the second highest total in the American League.
So almost like he has a new batting stance. He was a little open early in his career and early this year. Now he's closed and still holds his hand pretty high. And if you don't get the hands down in the hitting zone, that's what makes that slider away a lot harder to get to.
Got him with 3 sliders. Zach has struck out 4. 1-0 Royals. The young men in the light blue polo shirts are the Royals minor league pitchers and players of the year. We're in town over the weekend. They got a tour of the ballpark tonight. Tomorrow is Futures Night. They'll be honored on the field, so enjoying the game tonight with their family and enjoying a 1-0 Royals lead. Kila Ka'aihue a couple of years ago was in that group as the player of the year from AA Northwest Arkansas. He drove in the run tonight with a ground ball that scored Gregor Blanco. Alex Gordon was a winner back in 2006 after playing for Frank at then AA Wichita as the Wranglers player of the year. And he hits it over to the dugout suite. No balls, 2 strikes.
It's going to be a big night for these guys to be this close to professional baseball, and you can only imagine what's going through each one of them's head right now as they sit and watch this game and dream about the day that they'll be stepping on this field to play real live baseball at the major league level.
And Alex is down on 3 pitches. Garza strikes out his 3rd. Garza helped the Royals case in the 1st inning when he was unable to handle a pretty routine ground ball from Gregor Blanco. He dropped the ball, then he slipped on the grass. Blanco reached and came around to score. And now Yuniesky Betancourt. 4 hits in the Minnesota series, 2 doubles and 2 RBIs to give him the team lead at 78. And BJ Upton fades back to make the catch on the Betancourt line drive. 2 down.
Well, Uni's a first ball fastball hitter, Ryan, and we see right now he's always ready to hit that fastball. And I guess it's that old saying, a fastball should not pass without me making a pass. And he kind of goes after. That was my philosophy when I played. If it was in a position where I could hit it and do something with it, whether it's first pitch or second pitch, I was going to swing at it.
And now Brian Pena trying to lay down a bunt.
A lot of talk about on-base percentage now. We didn't talk about it quite as much when I was coming up, but I think as a hitter, you got to really first decide whether you're a good 2-strike hitter or not. So if you're a good 2-strike hitter, you can afford to take a lot of pitches. But if you're not, then why put yourself in that situation?
Brian Pena into right center field, and that's going to roll all the way to the wall. Thought about stretching it into a triple, but made the right decision. So on one pitch, he tries to lay down a bunt, and on the very next pitch, hits his 10th double of the year.
It's right out over the plate. See, every time you see a hitter get extended, Ryan, this is what they want to do right here. Get that bat and those arms extended, and they can hit the ball very hard. And Brian Pena does a good job here of splitting the outfielders in right center field. And this is a double. And I'm like you. He had thoughts of a triple, but made the right decision.
So Brian is safe at second base. Safe and secure. New York Life. A strike on Gerard Dyson. Dyson had a very good start to the last road trip. Played very well in Detroit, and then was hitless in the Cleveland series, and then just 1 out of 12 against Minnesota. That one hit was his first major league home run. And when you're struggling, every pitch is a strike, and it's usually not the pitch you're looking for, or not in the location you're looking for, and he's down 0-2.
Well, you're right about that, Ryan. You take the good ones and you swing at the bad ones. That's when you get in that rut. And that old saying is you're too slow for the fastball and too quick for the breaking ball. That's a dangerous place to be.
Gerard is in the lineup as the number 9 hitter for the first time. His first 10 starts coming as the leadoff man. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And the Royals didn't ease him into the leadoff spot. They put him right in there, giving him an opportunity to set himself up for the starting job in center field and perhaps leading off next year.
Well, he showed some good signs at times, Ryan, of being that type of player, but it's going to take a little more work, a little more discipline at the plate. Swing can get a little long sometimes.
Over to the dugout suite, and Zobrist had it in his glove, and it pops out for a foul ball. It's only the second time in his career he has started at third base.
Oh, that one hit right in the right spot, too. I mean, he just didn't get that glove closed. I don't know if we had more attention on the rail or more attention on catching the ball.
Well, I'm sure he knew that rail was coming.
So you always take that quick peek at the board to see if I got a hit on there on that particular play. But I'm sure he knew it was there. But that's what you take concentration to make a play around the rails like those.
In this case, it is ruled a no play. So no error, just a foul ball. We saw an error on a foul ball last night. Drew Butera, the catcher of the Twins, dropped a foul ball for an error, even though nobody reaches, nobody moves up, still an error. Another 2-2 to Dyson, and he drives it to left. Crawford was shallow, and it is over his head. I'm not sure Carl Crawford knows who's running the bases. That is an easy triple for Dyson, and the Royals lead 2-0. Pretty casual way to run down that ball that sailed over his head.
Well, when you look, he's not in a full-out sprint when it went over his head, Ryan, and I think that's what's really kind of unusual right here. Dyson, talking to Crawford, we sit there and Crawford said, "Can you run?" And I said, "He can run," and I think he just saw now the kind of speed that Gerard Dyson has. Then you can see this ball's over his head, and once it's over his head, now you got to really bust after the ball. But I guess in your mind you're assuming double, but there was no stopping in Gerard Dyson on this play. I mean, he was off and running as soon as he saw that ball over Carl Crawford's head.
So Gerard Dyson is safe at third base, safe and secure. New York Life. Ball one on Gregor Blanco, who reached with an infield single and came around to score in the first inning. Scored on Keela's ground ball to first. And Jaso blocks another one 2 balls and no strikes. So Dyson got all the playing time against the Twins. Blanco sat on the bench and didn't get into a game in that series until the 9th inning last night. Jarrod Dyson just picked up his first major league triple. 3 balls and no strikes on Blanco. And that triple put an end to an 0 for 10.
His power is very surprising, and when he squares the ball up, it really jumps off his bat.
We mentioned it before in the early comparisons to Kenny Lofton, who had great speed, was a good bunter, but Kenny Lofton had some power.
He did, and I mean, it was almost automatic when the pitch was in the middle of the plate down toward the inside. I mean, he was pretty good at just taking that ball and just pulling it out of the ballpark. But the thing I really admired about, you take Lofton and Alomar and Vizquel, all 3 of those guys, is that when a bunt had to be down, it was going to be down, and whether it be bunt for a base hit or a sacrifice bunt, that's what made those guys really special players.
Nobody had any idea of what those 3 guys were going to do when they came to the plate, because even Vizquel for a while could hit for power, but Lofton, Vizquel, Alomar, I mean, you play for the bunt, you play back. I mean, they had so many different ways to beat you.
And they had those big guns coming up behind them too, so it was a full-fledged all-out game when you played those guys.
Another foul ball from Blanco, still 3 balls, 2 strikes.
That's one area with Dyson and with Blanco. Both those guys would happen to be in the lineup. If both those guys can refine their bunting skills, and just that alone will open the game up for them quite a bit.
Got him looking at a slider at 91 miles an hour. The Royals add a run, and they lead 2-0. AT&T. Find out what's possible with the nation's fastest mobile broadband network. AT&T. Rethink possible. Find Panera Bread. Explore a menu of hearty soups, salads, sandwiches, and breakfast items at Panera Bread. And by Chevrolet. Come see for yourself why 1,000 people a day are switching to Chevy. So Zach Greinke with a 2-0 lead throws a strike to Reed Brignac, the Rays second baseman. 4 strikeouts for Zach in the first 2 innings. And the Rays with just 1 base runner. No balls and 2 strikes on Reed, and let's welcome in Joe Goldberg.
Oh, Ryan, thanks. We've got all the Player and Pitcher of the Year winners in the Royals organization here, and joined right now by Clint Robinson, who had just an unbelievable year, Triple Crown winner in the Texas League. But first off, congratulations on winning a Texas League championship. What was this year like for you?
Oh, it was a great year of baseball. We really enjoyed ourselves. We had real good team chemistry, and we kind of had our way with the Texas League. So going into the playoffs, we said, hey, we've got to win this thing now. If not, we kind of were going to look at the year as a failure. So to go in and just run through it and win the Texas League championship was, a really good accomplishment.
I remember when we talked to Brian Polberg, your manager, and congratulated him on winning Manager of the Year. He said anybody could have managed this team. Obviously, he did a good job, but how about the talent, top to bottom, hitting and pitching?
Oh, it's amazing. I mean, I know, for the Royals fans listening, everything, they don't see it on the field right now as far as wins and losses, but it's a good time to be excited to be a Royal fan because, with the talent like Mike Moustakas and Eric Hosmer and John Lamb and just unbelievable guys that they've been drafting throughout the years, it's really going to pay off big for this organization.
Yeah, when you walk in here to Kauffman Stadium and you guys will spend time in the community tomorrow and then be honored on the field tomorrow night, do you start to think about the future? I know fans do of the organization and start thinking, man, this guy could be here and this guy could be there. I could be here.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think that's kind of, part of the reason the Royals probably do this is so they can bring, the players here that are going to be the future of this organization to show us what it's going to be like and just make us want to get to the big leagues that much more to see, this beautiful ballpark and the position we could possibly be in. So to be able to come and see that, knowing that a lot of the guys I play with will be here is really exciting.
All right, final question for you. We got a chance to meet you last year at the Royals Awards dinner, and you were honored with the Mike Sweeney Award for so much work in the community, getting out there every single day. And I know that's got to have a special place in your heart, but what about now to be able to do what you did on the field as well this year?
Well, it's really fun, just to enjoy baseball, and I went out and worked really hard this offseason, and I knew we were going to have a great team with a lot of good guys around me. So to actually come out and put up great numbers like I wanted to, is really something that was pretty special to me. I was really proud of it.
Congratulations on a great season.
Thank you very much.
All right, that is Clint Robinson. Ryan, it seemed like we were looking at his numbers, and they kept just going up and up and up every single night. A Triple Crown winner and very involved in the community as well.
He is indeed, Joel, and quite modest, I'll add to that, as he's going on and on about all of his teammates that are going to get to the big leagues eventually and all the other players, and not talking a whole lot about his own season, but he had a great one. Jason Bartlett flies out to left field, 2 down in the 3rd inning. And speaking of the Royals' future, tomorrow is Futures Night, and your opportunity to meet some of the Royals minor league pitchers and players of the year. There will be an autograph session and a pregame award ceremony. And then after the game with Tampa Bay, a special fireworks spectacular presented by Hy-Vee and Pepsi. Royals.com or 1-800-6-ROYALS for tickets. One ball, one strike on John Jaso.
Yeah, it's really nice to listen to Clint Robinson and how positive he sounds. He's not only excited about the fact that they won, they expected to win, and I think that is something that is a good feeling when you're a minor league guy and you go into a season. He said they had their way with the Texas League, so that means that they knew early in the season that they had a chance to win the whole thing.
Two balls, two strikes on Jaso. And Mike Jerschele, who is with the Royals now after another season managing AAA Omaha, he's going to have a lot of those guys with him next year. And they'll be moving into a brand new ballpark. A shot past Aviles and into right field. So John Jaso has a 2-out single, and the Rays have their first hit.
But take a look at this pitch here, run it down in the zone. 96-mile-an-hour fastball, but lefties like the ball down in the middle of the plate, and he turns on this ball, just hooked away from Mike Aviles, and as he made a diving attempt to stop this ball and keep it on the infield.
And that brings up Ben Zobrist, who struck out swinging his first time up. Zach has struck out 4 already. And ball 1 on Zobrist. When the Rays went to the World Series 2 years ago, Ben Zobrist was one of their most valuable players. He played 6 different positions And he backed that up last year by playing 7 different positions and was an all-star. Tonight he's filling in at third base as Evan Longoria is still out with a sore left quad. So he moves to third, just his second major league start at third base. Wow, how about the movement on that pitch? 2-1.
Yeah, he's just got great movement, Ryan. Right now, he's got real good stuff. You see this changeup. I mean, this ball just turned over and went down and away. I'm just really fascinated by the velocity of it tonight, more so than anything else other than the movement.
Zobrist rolls it to Aviles. Zobrist is out, and so are the Rays in the third inning. Game. Retired from the Army, Major Gene Bresenio. I hope I came close. He established the Community Cadet Program and serves as the athletic director at Central High School in Kansas City, Missouri. He has dedicated himself to helping hundreds of inner city high school students to build strong character. And he's enjoying the game in Buck Seat tonight as Mike Aviles lost his bat. But as the old baseball rule goes, the hitter will trade a bat for a base hit every time. And Aviles is at first to begin the bottom of the third inning.
Well, it gets jammed, it hits it right in the middle of the field, and I think that's what gave him this base hit, Ryan. I mean, the bat just really just breaks right in half. It's lucky it didn't come off and hit the catcher. You see, Brignac did a great job just making this play. I mean, Mike stumbles at all, he's out on this play.
And now Aviles is running. Jaso's throw is no. Laz Diaz was about to call Aviles out, and then he realized that the ball jumped out of Brignac's glove. But unlike football, the ground can cause a fumble in this game.
Well, that's true, right?
Or the runner.
Well, Mike does a pop-up slide here, and they just have a little collision right there, and that was enough to get the ball out of his glove. And Brignac was looking for that. Well, I tagged him before the ball came out, and even though it came out, he's still pleading to Laz Diaz that, well, I think I tagged him before the ball came out.
So Aviles has his third stolen base of the homestand and his 13th of the year as he continues to build on a new career high. Billy Butler singled to right field in the first inning. And he grounds one to the right side this time. A very unselfish at bat to get Aviles over to third. And there's one away. Coming up on Saturday, the KU Jayhawks open their Big 12 conference play against the Baylor Bears right here on Fox Sports Kansas City. Coverage begins at 10:30 a.m. with the Big 12 kickoff show, followed by KU and Baylor at 11 a.m. here on Fox Sports Kansas City. Ball one to Keila Kaihue. Keila grounded out to first in the first inning, and that scored Blanco from third. So Keila has 7 RBIs on the homestand, and now he's ahead in the count, 2 balls and no strikes as the Rays bring the infield in.
Well, interesting setup at third base, Ryan. You got a third baseman actually acting as if he's a first baseman, holding Michael Aviles close at third base, is trying to keep from getting that good walking lead just in case the Royals are going on contact. Something you don't see very often at all.
And the so-called spray charts, which coaches refer to, how the hitter sprays the ball around the field, must show that that left side is somewhere where Keila doesn't hit it, so they're not worried about guarding that side.
It's almost like you got a reversal at first base. Bends over as he waits on the pitch, then he shuffles off as if he was a first baseman trying to guard the hole at that point. But I think it's not a bad move. But you got the infield in, and let's say if the Royals are going on contact, it prevents Mike from getting further down the line and getting a better jump.
Keila fouls it away off to the left side. Well, Joe Madden is about as creative and innovative as any major league manager. He is always thinking of new ways to pitch, new ways to hit, new ways to defend, new ways to score runs. If there is a book, as they say, go buy the book, Joe Madden has probably flipped through a few pages of the book, but he certainly doesn't live by the book.
Not at all.
Keila just gets a piece to stay alive at 3-2. Joel, we had a nice chat with Joe Madden before the game tonight.
Yeah, and you mentioned it before. He's always fun to be around, and you can always learn a lot from him, too. You know, and some guys would say, oh, there's video, we know what the other team does, but he pointed out that with so many new faces on the Royals since they last saw them May 2nd, and a new manager with new tendencies, that a lot of it you could see, but a lot of it you got to see in person as well.
Well, everything was set up for an out at the plate, except Pena threw it away, and the Royals lead 3-0. So Keila, again, hits a ground ball to first base and ends up with an RBI.
Joe Madden would probably say, well, I had it all set up the way I wanted to. I got the ground ball that I wanted, and a good throw would have definitely got Mike at the plate, and that play would have been a successful play for the Rays.
Matt Garza had to go and do an evacuation dive to make sure that his head was still going to be attached to his shoulders after Pena came up throwing.
You wonder how much of an effect that had on Pena's throw to the plate. I remember when Ken Harvey was playing first base here, and was it Jason Grimsley was the pitcher, and a play just like that, and Jason got hit pretty good by Harvey.
Benameat struck out in the first inning. And that's popped up. And it's Brignac out into shallow center field. So Benameat is 0 for 2, and Keila is at first with 2 down. So Matt Garza, who's coming off a win against Seattle and was very impressive on Saturday, has given up runs in each of the first 3 innings. Prior to that win, He really was fighting himself. He had 3 consecutive starts, 3 bad starts that had his ERA over that stretch near 11. Ball 1 to Alex Gordon, who saw 3 pitches in the second inning and struck out. Two balls, no strikes. And now 3-0. Alex swinging on 3-0, breaks his bat, and he's lucky he's still alive. Hitter is looking for a better swing and a better result when you swing 3-0.
Well, you got to make sure if you're going to swing 3-0, you want to hit the ball hard and you want to hit it somewhere. And I mean, you get a broken bat pop up on 3-0, then that's not what manager Ned Yost is looking for in that situation. So he's trusting you to be able to pick a good pitch to hit in that situation.
So Alex with a new bat, 3 balls, 1 strike. Pulled foul, look out. And a nice grab by a fan who I believe is wearing an Alex Gordon jersey. Alex's former number. A souvenir, and protected the fans in the back row.
He saved somebody.
Keela's running, and Alex fouls it away again. And another nice catch. We didn't see this one because it was above us. Bouncing off the roof of the press box, and a nice bare hand grab. Keela runs again, and Alex pulls it to deep first. Pena to Garza, who just gets to the bag in front of Alex Gordon, and that's the inning. The Royals add another run and lead 3-0. Carl Crawford leads off the top of the 4th inning. The Royals have a 3-0 lead with 1 run in each of the first 3 innings. On the other side, Zach Greinke has 3 scoreless innings and he has 4 strikeouts. You got Carl Crawford swinging back in the 1st inning. Carl Crawford has been batting 3rd since the early part of August. Down 1 ball, 2 strikes, and having a career season. He has new career highs this year in runs scored, 106, and that's a team record. Career highs in RBIs, extra base hits, and 1 home run away from tying his career high with 18. Three balls, 2 strikes. Here's tonight's Roadrunner Turbo speed pitch comparison. A couple of 26-year-olds tonight, and they're both throwing 97. You can double your speed with Roadrunner Turbo from Time Warner Cable. And Crawford into deep right center field, and he has tied his career high with his 18th, and he hit it into the water past the party porch.
Well, you kind of like to see Zach go with his best fastball right here, but this changeup just stayed right in the middle of the plate, and he did a good job of just waiting on this pitch, Ryan, and got all of it and hit it up in the upper deck and upper tier in right field.
So it's a 3-1 game. And now 2 balls and no strikes on Dan Johnson. Johnson walked leading off the 2nd inning, stole 2nd, but that was it. And now 3 balls, no strikes. Tonight's Sprint You Call It question: who will have the biggest impact for the Rays in the playoffs? And Carl Crawford is in last place. 35% saying Evan Longoria, who is not in the lineup tonight. And after the home run, it's a 4-pitch walk to Dan Johnson, who walks for the 2nd time. And we go back down to the first base side dugout suite, and here's Joel.
Ryan, thanks. You know, we've talked about all the left-handed pitchers in the Royals system and all the guys they have at Northwest Arkansas. There's more coming up as well. Crawford Simmons is the Burlington, North Carolina Pitcher of the Year. I'll ask you the same question I asked Clint. Here you are at 19 years old. What's it like to be here at Kauffman Stadium?
I've had the pleasure of being here a couple of times, and every time we come, you know, it's awesome. It's a great stadium, great atmosphere, and here to watch some good baseball.
Yeah, and as a pitcher, too, to be able to be here on a night where you see Zach Greinke and Matt Garza, how much appreciation do you have for those guys?
Oh, watching this matchup is going to be really awesome to see these 2 guys go at it. I'm looking forward to it.
All right, so tell me about your year, too. I mean, first year of professional baseball. Anything surprise you? What was it like for you to be able to pitch professionally this year and pitch well?
You know, it was great. To be able to have the year I had as my first year out, you know, I really surprised myself. I felt like you know, as the year went on, I felt like I got more comfortable and just went better and better as the year went along. It feels good.
All right, and so finally, you had a chance to go to Georgia Tech, which is where Blake Wood went, and so many great baseball players from that Georgia area where you grew up. How tough a decision was it to end up passing up college and going to play pro ball?
It was a really tough decision. I thought about it for a really long time. Talked over with my family and stuff like that, but you know, in the end, I feel like I've made the right decision.
Congratulations on a great year.
Thank you.
All right, that is Crawford Simmons, one of many, as that ball is headed right our way. But we got protection here. It's all good, guys.
Joel, hey, Joel, can I throw in a question?
You can throw in anything you want.
Well, we've been reading up on Crawford, and he's from Georgia. What brought him to Kauffman Stadium on a few occasions before tonight?
Well, Ryan wanted to know what brought you to Kauffman Stadium in the past on other occasions. Were you here after you signed with the Royals?
I came both times before I signed. One was for the pre-draft workout, and then the other one was also just, you know, after I'd been drafted but not yet signed.
All right, so now he is signed. He is the Burlington, North Carolina Pitcher of the Year. Not too bad, Ryan, for the 14th round draft pick from last year for the Royals.
All right, thank you, Joel. Carlos Pena flies out to left field for the 2nd time tonight, so he's 0 for 2. And Johnson at first base with 1 out. So Carl Crawford with a long home run off of Zach Greinke to put the Rays on the board. Zach still with a 2-run lead and now gets Matt Joyce. And Zach carved him up for a strikeout in the second inning. Crawford Simmons sounds like someone, that name sounds like someone I wouldn't want to face.
Crawford James Simmons.
Yeah.
Sound like a real confident young man. You know, he just appreciative of the year he's had. He's a hard worker and did obviously give some serious thought to going to college before he signed.
Dan Johnson holds at second base. So Matt Joyce base hit puts 2 on with 1 out.
And when Taco Bell takes us through Fox tracks here, Ryan, it's a changeup. That's why he's able to pull his ball back through the hole. Fastball, he probably wouldn't have been able to do that. So he's able to get extended and those wrists rolled over, and he got a base hit between first and second.
And now B.J. Upton, who looked like he had no chance against Zach Greinke his first time up. Zach going with almost all sliders, and this time misses with a fastball. Ball 1. It was the 160th strikeout of the year for Upton. And there's a slider for a strike, and it's 1-1. The Rays are an interesting offense. They have a lot of speed. They lead the league in stolen bases. They also have a very patient offense. They lead the league in walks, but they also lead the league in strikeouts. Upton lays off the slider this time, and the count is 2-1. Kevin Schenk just informed me that Crawford Simmons was born in 1991. Is that possible? That was just like 4 years ago, wasn't it?
I said 6/10/91.
Nice stop by Pena, so that keeps the double play in order. And the count is 3 balls and 1 strike on Upton.
Well, this to me, Ryan, is where the catcher is just worth his weight in gold right here. They got that runner 90 feet away and hard slider in the dirt, and you're able to get in front of it. And
so 3-1 on Upton, whose batting average is down to .238 this year, but he does have 18 home runs. Good pitch. And Upton at first nodding his head and doing so again as he agrees with home plate umpire John Hirschbeck. Not that they need an agreement.
Well, John is one of the few umpires that is pretty liberal on the outside corners, but Zach refuses to come inside to Upton at all. So if Upton's going to do anything with Zach Greinke, he's going to have to make his mind up to go out there and try to hit one of those pitches away.
And Upton hits a fly ball into right center. Blanco coming over from right. The runners are not tagging, and there are 2 down. Tampa Bay Rays finishing up on the road this year. And tonight's league leaders are brought to you by your Kansas City area Toyota dealers. Best road record in the majors. And the Rays have improved this year overall. And one of the categories you can point directly towards is what they've done on the road. Last year, the Rays had a .395 winning percentage on the road. They almost improved by 200 points.
Well, they won 13 of their first 14 road games. So they got up to a great start.
They were 2 completely different teams last year, home and road. .642 winning percentage at home, .395 on the road. So that's a .247 differential, which was the largest in the major leagues. A broken bat, Billy grabs it, runs to the bag, and gets Brignac, and that's the inning. The Rays get on the board with the Crawford home run. Sweatshirt, which was a controversy earlier this year. We'll get back to that. Close to that is the Royals Sluggy, which will be given away to the first 20,000 fans on Saturday. That's a 6-10 game with the Rays, courtesy of Fox Sports Kansas City. It's also Fan Appreciation Night presented by Sprint. And if you'd like to come out to the ballpark, you can get your tickets right now at Royals.com or 1-800-6-ROYALS. Fouled away by Unievsky Betancourt. Remember, very early in the year, Major League Baseball banned Joe Maddon from wearing his hoodie. And then about a week later, they said it was all right because it was, that particular hoodie was an officially licensed sweatshirt. Another coach that's famous for wearing a hoodie is Bill Belichick, the head coach of the New England Patriots. And when he got word that Joe Maddon was banned from wearing his hoodie, Joe Maddon got an autographed hoodie from Belichick. Betancourt grounds out to short. He is 0 for 2 tonight.
I say one champion to another champion. It's amazing how those fans start. You watch Belichick, you have his cut off arms one time he doesn't have the hood. I mean, he just had all kind of looks, but it was always a sweatshirt.
Lucas May has his hoodie on tonight. Lucas May started all 3 games behind the plate during the Minnesota series. Now it's Brian Pena back there, and Brian doubled with 2 outs and nobody on in the second inning, and then scored on Gerard Dyson's triple. Royals with 1 in the first, 1 in the second, and 1 in the third against Matt Garza. And Brian, going for it all, fouled it away.
We normally see those swings out of Brian when he hadn't played in a while. When he's playing a lot, you see a little bit more control swing, and he's trying to work the ball to left field left-handed and right field right-handed. But when he doesn't play a lot, he just goes for it.
Up the first base line and just foul. 1 ball, 2 strikes. A little more controlled swing back in the second inning.
A nice pitch down in the zone, down in the middle, and he stayed right with it and drove it into right center field. And one thing about Brian, he was cruising in the second. All of a sudden, he tried to kick it into the gear and realized, oh, I better stay here. So you have a first gear and a first gear, you know. I used to watch Willie Wilson run like that. He'd get halfway to second, and he just seems to go to a second gear and a third gear. And but some guys just have one gear.
But Brian Pena is smart enough to realize that. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Some guys don't realize that there isn't a second and third gear. And by the time they do figure it out, it's too late.
They'd have made the third out, the first out at third base, and everybody said, "What are you doing?"
Three balls, 2 strikes. That's exactly where the catcher John Jaso wanted it. He was pointing with his glove down. Make sure you get this ball down. Don't leave it up. And Garza put it there, but Pena wouldn't go for it. Matt Garza, a former first-round pick of the Twins back in 2005. They drafted him out of Fresno State. Across the knees, and Brian's not going to argue. So either he thought that was a strike, or knowing that he might need that pitch later in the game, decides not to say anything to John Hirschbeck.
This is when you got 2 strikes on you, Ryan, you can't let a pitch like this go. You just got to try to foul it off and just try to stay alive. You don't want to get called out on a pitch down the middle of the plate.
4 strikeouts for Garza. And now Dyson, who missed the bunt attempt. Gerard went the other way in the second inning and tripled over Carl Crawford's head. His first major league triple. That snapped an 0 for 10 streak for him. And it scored Brian Pena. One ball, 1 strike.
Well, we'll go back, Brian, and watch this swing. I mean, he really gets the bat on this ball, and Carl Crawford got caught playing a little shallow. Didn't think he had that kind of power, and he goes into third base with a triple. But Carl Crawford is in the same spot again.
Back to Garza. He'll go halfway. And the Royals are down 1-2-3 in the bottom of the 4th. Scoreless for the first time tonight in the bottom of the 4th inning, and Zach is in very good position to win his 10th of the year.
I tell you, Ryan, he's got good live fastball, and his changeup has got a lot of good action to it, and he's really pitching aggressively so far in this game tonight.
He's given up 1 run. That was a home run to Carl Crawford leading off the 4th inning. 4 strikeouts, and he gets the 9 1-2 hitters in the top of the 5th and drops a curveball in for a strike to Jason Bartlett. Bartlett flied to left in the 3rd inning. Bartlett had been swinging the bat well and then was hitless last night against the Orioles and lost an 8-game hitting streak. The Rays were shut out by Baltimore 2-0 and only had 3 hits in last night's game. And it was the second time they had been shut out over the last 3 games. Very interesting offense. I mean, it's an offense that has so many weapons, yet has had some real bad nights. Did Chris get that ball? Look at that. Now, finally.
Now, we've been seeing Chris with that glove all year and never a baseball. Then he started looking like Chris again, and he catches a baseball.
Good for him. Royals superfan Chris. The best kids club in Major League Baseball is back for 2011 for only $20. Slugger's Blue Crew membership includes a cool Royals powder blue batting practice jersey. In addition, a limited edition Royals cap and many other great offers. 2010 packages are also still available at discounted prices, like $10. Go to Royals.com/Blue Crew for more information. 2 balls and no strikes on John Jaso. So anyway, the Rays 3rd in the league in runs scored. They lead the league in stolen bases, 6th in the league in home runs. They do have power, but they had a stretch of 1 year where they were no hit 3 times and 2 perfect games thrown against them. Mark Burley last year, Dallas Braden this year, and then Edwin Jackson, who once pitched for the Rays, threw a no-hitter against them in St. Petersburg. So in 11 months, they were no-hit 3 times. Alex Gordon runs down the fly ball off the bat of John Jaso for the 2nd out. And then on August the 8th, they were 1 out away from being no-hit again. Brandon Morrow of the Blue Jays had a no-hitter with 2 outs in the 9th inning, and Evan Longoria singled to right. So that saved them from being no-hit 4 times in just a little over a year.
Well, you'd say they got a good combination of players on that team, speed, power, and you think that would be one of the few teams that would ever get no hit, but they did.
Out at first base. Nice play by Billy to stay with it after the ball popped out of his glove. And it's a quick inning for the Rays in the 5th. Two nice plays to get the final out of the top of the 5th.
This is just a reactionary play. When you play the corners, you got to be ready to move quickly, and he did a good job knocking it down, getting to his feet, and we don't have to worry about, we don't have to ask questions about Zach. Zach's going to be there because he loves to play defense, and you can see right here Billy does a nice job of knocking it down, getting to his feet, and making a nice throw to Zach covering first base.
Top of the order for the Royals against Matt Garza. One strike on Gregor Blanco, who singled and scored in the first inning. And the Royals got a run in the second. They got a run in the third. And Garza finally pitched a scoreless inning in the fourth. Blanco, Aviles, and Butler coming up. Scott Pasetnik-like, and a slash gets past Zobrist at third. And Blanco has his second hit. Oh, that's an error on Zobrist. He spoke too quickly.
So Blanco starts running up in the box early and slaps his ball right at Zobrist at third base. And you see the ball's a little bit off the plate there. Well, it looked like it might have been catchable.
Of course, it always looks a lot easier in slow motion. So an error 5.
Yeah, that was one of those plays too, Ryan, where once Blanco shortens up on that bat, the third baseman's coming in, and the ball's hit to his left. Now he's got to change directions and go back to his left, so it makes the play a lot tougher.
Either way, the Royals have the leadoff man on, and now Mike Aviles, who led off the third with an infield single, stole a base, and came around to score on Kila Kaihue's ground out. And now Blanco is running. The Rays do not get the out at second base, but Brignac continues the play, and Aviles is out at first. So 6-4-3, and only one out.
So this play right here, Ryan, this is really a gutty play right here. Normally a second baseman, you're just going to get one out and just get out of the way. But he turned this double play, and Blanco really could have taken him out of this play a lot easier if he wanted to, but he was going to try to be safe, and that's the difference right there. But if he's going to break up the double play, he probably could have went through the base and gotten that done. That's when you want to go in there and try to do a pop-up slide right on the base, because normally you'd think that you're just trying to beat that throw from the shortstop to the second baseman.
Ball one on Billy Butler, who is singled and grounded out to first base. Just made a nice play on defense for the final out at the top of the fifth. Fouled away by Billy. He's got a piece of John Jaso's mask. Here's tonight's AT&T trivia question. Who led the Royals with the lowest home run total for a single season? Billy has 15. Yuniesky Betancourt has 16. Jose Guillen had 16 when he was traded away. That is foul by a little more than a foot. And it's 1 ball, 2 strikes on Billy. Right now it's a race between Billy and Yuniesky Betancourt for most home runs, most RBIs. Betancourt has 1 more home run and 1 more RBI. Billy has a big advantage in the doubles department, 43-28. And this does not count a strike season. It is a full season number. Billy strikes out. Garza has his 5th. So they're the leaders for this year. 2 down with Blanco still at second base. And now Keela, who's 0 for 2, but he's driven in 2 runs. And now 8 RBIs on the homestand. And he was going for number 9 and number 10 with that swing.
I don't think I've ever seen Keela take an easy swing. Seems like when he decides to let it go, it's going. That's a nice tribute question. It's got my mind working here, but I can't come up with a name.
And a curveball drops in. No balls, 2 strikes. Both of Keela's RBIs tonight have come on ground balls to first base. He got Blanco home in the first and Aviles in the third. And a bloop out into shallow left. Bartlett wants it, and that's the inning. Joel.
All right, Ryan, thank you. Joined right now by Will Myers. He was with us on the pregame show, too, and I think everybody has heard that name. Will Myers, just 19 years old and made the jump from low A to high A. Right. What was the experience like for you this year?
It was definitely a good experience. My first full pro season. It was a good learning tool for me. I went through my first slump, got up there, went through that, stayed with my coaches, worked through it, and luckily I was able to come out of it. And I worked my way to high A, and it was good for me this year, and I'm looking forward to next year.
What I really always enjoy when all of you are here every single year is just to see the wide eyes, the excitement. It's the stadium, the cameras, and all of that kind of stuff. How much does this excite you to start thinking about the future?
It does a lot. It'd be really cool to play here every day, but you got to work hard towards it. Like I said, I'm looking forward to next year. It'll be a big jump for me. So I'm excited, man. I got a lot to look forward to, so I'm ready to get after it.
You follow the progress of some of these other guys as well. You're all in the system, if not in the same levels, but guys like Moustakas, guys like Hosmer that everybody talks about being the future?
Yeah, I do. I look and see how those guys are doing. They're doing great. I know both of the 2 hitters are out and representing Team USA, and they're doing great up there. And it's just exciting. We have a good group of young players coming up, and Kansas City has a lot to look forward to.
All right, and finally, you made the switch from a position player, or at least a player out in the field, to catcher, and they talked about your athleticism and being able to do that. How much of a challenge was that?
It was a huge challenge. I was a corner infielder, played some shortstop in high school, did all that. It was a big jump for me. Catching's a hard position to learn. But I was back there, stayed with my coaches. They worked with me, and luckily I made some progress this year. And I'm looking forward to next year being a full-time catcher.
It's good to have you here in Kansas City, and hope to see you on the big field soon. Thanks, Will.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, that is Will Myers, and Ryan, you were running those numbers before about ages, and here's a guy that is the low A player of the year, but he tore it up in high A as well. He'll be 20 in December.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
And what year is that? Was that another 1991?
Is that a 91? 91, 90. 90.
1990.
90, Ryan, which still means we're old.
Yeah. We were in college, weren't we, Joel?
Yeah. What about you, Frank?
Well, 1990 was my last year in the game.
All right, guys, good stuff down here, and we'll have some more of these future stars on Hy-Vee Royals Live tomorrow. We're going to catch up with a couple of those great left-handed pitchers from Northwest Arkansas. John Lamb, who is the Paul Splittorff Pitcher of the Year Award winner, as well as Chris Dwyer. So we'll talk to those guys tomorrow.
Okay. Thanks, Joel.
Well, what's impressive is the confidence of all the guys that Joel's interviewed tonight. I mean, they're all confident. They're all looking forward to the future, and they all said that the Royals fans have a lot to look forward to, and that's the message that the fans been getting, and the players are totally believing it.
And you know that every single one of them that's here tonight thinks they're going to get to the big league someday, but that's the way you have to think.
You got to think that way.
And maybe they all will get to the big leagues. Carlos Pena jolts one to deep right field, but well foul. 1 ball, 1 strike. He has flied out to left field twice tonight. That gets his batting average down to 197. "28 home runs, 82 driven in." And we were telling you about how the Rays walk quite a bit and strike out quite a bit. Carlos Pena has the 6th most walks in the league and the 3rd most strikeouts. It's interesting. You look at some of the batting averages up and down their lineup, and some very low batting averages. And then you see, as a team, the Rays are hitting .249.
That's saying they're making the best of the least. They get some big hits at the right time, and then you put pitching and defense with that, and then you have a playoff team. Zach is really in command of pretty much all of his pitches tonight, Ryan, whether it be the slider, the changeup, the fastball. He's keeping it down. Just doing a good job. Got a lot of life on his pitches, a lot of movement.
Only run he's given up was a home run to Carl Crawford in the 4th inning. And you can't blame him for that with a count 3 balls, 2 strikes. You don't want Crawford and his speed to be a distraction with a walk. So make him hit it out of the ballpark, and boy did he ever. But that's the only Tampa Bay run.
Yeah, you're not in a jam if they hit it out of the ballpark. As long as it's solo.
7 strikeouts for Zach and 2 more in this inning. Yeah. Up in Stadium, and the Royals have a 3-1 lead going into the bottom of the 6th inning with Wilson Betemit, Alex Gordon, and Yuniesky Betancourt coming up. Betemit 0 for 2 tonight and 0 for 6 after missing 3 games when he was hit on the shin of his front leg. And it's a left-hand batter, that is, being a switch hitter. Royals with single runs in the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd innings. And now Matt Garza has back-to-back scoreless innings. Popped up. And it's Pena down from first, makes the catch in foul territory. So Betemit is 0 for 3. Tonight's copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Kansas City Royals. They may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals Baseball Corporation. Ryan Lefevre with Frank White, Joel Goldberg, producer Kevin Schenk, director Steve Kurtenbach, associate producers Al Broughton, Sam Abramson, and the producer of Royals Live is TJ McGinnis. Our final telecast of the year is tomorrow night, and that's Bruce Chen against James Shields. And now Alex pops it up. Garza's calling for it. And you could just see the dejection in his body language, as if to say, come on, man, can I catch one?
Get the pitcher out of there.
So Zobrist makes the play, 2 down. Yuniesky Betancourt and his team leading 16 home runs come to the plate. And we ask you tonight in the AT&T trivia question, who led the Royals with the lowest home run total for a single season? Was it Mark Teahan a few years ago? Oh, you got to go back to the Royals' very first year.
Eddie Kirkpatrick, Spanky, he got it done. Well, they went, I mean, I was just a year out of high school. I'm not supposed to know that. They were still at the old stadium.
You know, that was a record back then, too. That was the lowest number of home runs in Royals history.
A big ballpark. That was a record anytime.
Tonight, Uni is lined to center and grounded out to short. We were telling you last inning about all the no-hitters that the Rays have been a victim of over the past 2 seasons. Well, you can't forget that Matt Garza threw a no-hitter for the Rays this year. He no-hit the Tigers on July the 26th. The first no-hitter in Tampa Bay Rays history. Tonight, he is down 3-1 at the end of 6 innings. Tonight for the KC Sports Media Challenge, as Joel Goldberg will try and defend his title as Kingpin. We'll be gathering items for the Salvation Army and an orphanage in Haiti. Here are the items for the Salvation Army. And then for the orphanage in Haiti, Frank White will be there, along with Willie Wilson, Jeff Montgomery, John Mayberry, Greg Pryor, Shane Halter, Brian McRae, Mike Boddicker, Jim Eisenreich, Dennis Leonard, Jamie Quirk, Sean Sedlacek, and former Royals trainer Nick Swartz, who's an excellent bowler. And that's Tuesday night at 7 o'clock at Lucky Strike.
No, Joel continues to give Jeff Montgomery a lot of credit for his group winning, but I'm kind of wondering, how did he get to be the kingpin then?
Because it is all about the Kansas City sports media member. He is considered the captain of the team.
It should just say Jeff Montgomery, because, you know, he's one of those guys that I haven't bowled in 15 years, and then, you know, he's like the best guy out there. So
we'll change it if you want to.
No, my name never gets on a trophy, so now we might as well defend it and keep this thing going. You know, it's a big trophy. It's like one of those things where you could like gaze at yourself in the reflection of this big, massive, obnoxious-sized Kingpin trophy.
Absolutely.
That's where you take it home and you put it in a closet. You're afraid the kids are going to do damage to it.
Look at, you're right. I was afraid that my kids were going to do damage, so I left it in the closet in your broadcast booth up there. And the folks on the left are from Boulevard.
Same team. You're going to have the same team this year. And
that's TJ McGinnis, who we always hear about, Royals live pregame and postgame show producer. So we're gonna get after it a little bit. And I will say this, that every time we seem to have one of these bowling events on the road with just us Fox Sports Kansas City guys, you know, Team Goldberg often, usually wins, right? Yeah. And Frank's been with me the last couple of times with that. Let's go bowling.
Joel's a pretty good bowler.
Pretty good. And
I don't think he's going to go on the tour or anything like that, but we had a little get together on one of the recent road trips in Cleveland, and Joel was quite impressive. Zach Greinke has 8 strikeouts after getting Matt Joyce. He struck out B.J. Upton back in the second inning and then got Upton on a fly ball to right in the fourth. So Zach has done a good job tonight of shaking off his last 2 starts. Losses at Detroit and at Cleveland, where he gave up 12 runs in less than 10 innings. And Upton strokes it into left center field. And Dyson has it skip by him and up against the wall. 37 doubles this year for B.J. Upton. And the Rays' first hit since the 4th inning. Speaking of Joe Madden's eyeglasses, let's go back to Joel.
I didn't think that would be a good idea to wear those today, because I might be accused of being Joe's younger brother or son.
Not you. I'm talking about Kevin Shank.
Wait, hold on. That's coming up in a second. Real Royals trivia tomorrow.
There they are.
Okay, there are the glasses. There's Kevin Shank. And we've got Real Royals trivia tomorrow. Final Real Royals trivia of the season. And, you know, we do really have good prizes. There's tickets and all kinds of stuff that we give out. There's going to be a theme tomorrow, but I don't really want to say what it is. It's going to involve one player on the Royals, all the questions, but I don't want to give it away, because then everybody's going to go home and do their research. It will have nothing to do with Joe Madden or Joe Madden's glasses. It will not have anything to do with Tampa Bay Rays history with the Royals, because there's not a whole lot of it. But I'll throw this question at you guys. And you might see that look tomorrow. Wow, I cannot believe that the producer of the show just allowed that to be on the air.
I don't know if he allowed it.
It must have slipped through. Not
Upton to third base, and Ryan Pena didn't quite get it.
All right, I got a question for you guys here. We're talking about some of the older history here. What Kansas City Royal has the most home runs in Municipal Stadium history?
John Mayberry.
Nope.
Municipal Stadium.
As a Royal. Right in your neighborhood there, Frank. Well, by your school. Most home runs as a Royal at Municipal Stadium.
Bob Oliver.
No, he was second.
Wow.
with 18.
What's his last name?
It rhymes with... I can't rhyme with Kirkpatrick. I was going to come up with something. No, it's Ed Kirkpatrick. You guys just saw that before, so I figured we'd give him twice the trivia answer. 26 home runs as a Royal at Municipal Stadium, but obviously most home runs ever not a Royal because of all the history. It was Hector Lopez.
Gerard Dyson goes a long way to run down that shot from Reed Brignac. A run scores to make it a one-run game. And Gerard Dyson just showcased his great range for everyone.
That was some kind of outstanding play, Ryan. And Brignac got to second base and just sort of stood back and looked. He can't believe this ball got caught. I mean, this is about as good as he can hit a ball here in this ballpark. And Dyson catches this ball easily. I mean, there was no effort at the end of that run. You can see Upton goes back to tag. And what a great play.
If he doesn't get that ball, a run scores, and the tying run is probably at third base with only one out. So it's a one-run game, and the batter is Jason Bartlett, who's 0 for 2. Brignac drives in his 45th of the year. Two balls, no strikes. Zach had 110 pitches. Two balls and one strike on Bartlett. So Zach trying to get to 10 wins and trying to avoid being the only Cy Young winner in American League history to get fewer than 10 wins in his following season with at least 30 starts. There are several who have gotten fewer than 10 wins the year after winning the Cy Young, but because of injuries or otherwise didn't quite make it to 30 starts. Zach is making his 33rd tonight. Blake Wood begins warming up behind him in the Royals bullpen. Bartlett strikes out. That's 9 for Zach. The Rays, however, make it a one-run game. At Kauffman Stadium. Remember, you can visit the official online shop of the Royals and Royals.com Browse the largest online selection of authentic team gear, including official caps, t-shirts, jerseys, collectibles, and more. So get your team gear straight from the source. ShopTheRoyals.com shop. So we can assume that that is Zach's last inning of the game end of the year. He is at 113 pitches. He gives the Royals 7 innings and leaves with a 1-run lead. One ball and 2 strikes on Brian Pena. Matt Garza has pulled it together after allowing runs in each of the first 3 innings. Now he's retired 13 of the last 14, and the only hitter that he did not retire over that stretch reached on an error. The Royals are without a hit since the 3rd. Up the middle, backhanded by Brignac, and a nice stretch by Pena for out number 1. And that brings up Gerard Dyson. Robinson Tejeda is getting ready for the top of the 8th inning, and he'll get the top of the Rays order. Dyson has an RBI triple and a ground out, and one of the best defensive plays of the game. Outside for ball 1.
Right, when you watch this play and you see how far he has to go, and I looked at it between innings and counted. He took 21 steps to catch this ball, and it covered a lot of ground in 21 strides.
And as you were counting steps, producer Kevin Shank was counting the time, and he made those 21 steps in a little over 5 seconds. Don't try this at home.
I know, he said, get up and try it. You might be able to run in place and not get 21 steps in 5 seconds.
Three balls, no strikes. Dyson as the number 9 hitter for the first time since being called up. Otherwise had 10 straight starts as the Royals leadoff hitter.
Frank, I was wondering if you maybe could demonstrate that full speed on Hy-Vee Royals Live tomorrow.
Perfect.
I can take about 3 steps, and then you have to speed up the camera.
Or we could do it as a group and do like a relay race.
That'll probably work.
Well, I'll volunteer 3 of those steps.
I'll put in 2.
Okay.
I think Ryan, I've seen Ryan run. I've seen Ryan play basketball. I think Ryan can do it. He's a center fielder. He can do it.
I ran in the dead heat of Houston last year with Ryan. I could not keep up with him. So, Ryan, I think you're going to do the bulk of the work here. TJ McGinnis, our producer, he's young. He could do it.
It might take 2 segments for me to run the distance that Dyson did last inning. We'll have more of Ryan stumbling into deep right center field right after this. Matt Garza, who hadn't walked anyone, all of a sudden has thrown 5 straight out of the strike zone. And now Blanco lines it to right field, and it's going to be caught by Joyce. A throwback to first base, misses everyone. And now it gets away from Garza, and Dyson moves up to second base. So there's some more showcasing of the speed. He was so far off of first base that Matt Joyce thought he could throw him out.
But Matt Joyce makes a nice play. I'm thinking this is a base hit right off the bat, but he does a good job getting over and getting that 360 and getting back on top. Then the play was okay, but the problem was Matt Garza got in between the catcher and the ball, and that play ended up giving Dyson 90 feet and an error. That's the first time you see a catcher go down the block and throw, and the pitcher goes right in front of him like that when he probably should have been behind him.
Now Mike Aviles takes a strike with Dyson at second base and 2 outs. Aviles has hit in 8 straight games, each with an infield single in the 3rd, and then stole his 13th base before coming around to score on a ground out from Kila Kahue.
They get air to right fielder.
Would you have given it to someone else? Garza?
Yeah, I don't think Dyson would have gone at the ball. Not got away from Garza, but if Garza hadn't deflected the ball in the foul territory.
I guess the score is saying that if Joyce doesn't throw over Carlos Pena, you don't need a backup man. Yes. Into right field again, an easier play for Matt Joyce. Dyson lost track of the outs, so he tags and goes to 3rd, but the inning is over. Brought to you by Panera Bread. The Giants' magic number is 1 in the West. As they win, San Diego loses, so San Francisco has a 3-game lead, and now the Padres trail the Braves by 2 in the wild card. So Zach Greinke goes 7 innings, gives up 2 runs, 4 hits in his final start, and a Chevy call to the bullpen as Robinson Tejeda gets another chance to hold the lead in the 8th inning. Look at the top of the Rays batting order: John Jaso, Ben Zobrist, and Carl Crawford. Last time Tejeda pitched with the lead in the 8th inning, in a save situation that is, was on Sunday. And Bruce Chen left the game after 7 innings and a 3-0 lead, and Cleveland scored 5 in the bottom of the 8th. All those runs were charged to Tejeda. One ball and 2 strikes on John Jaso, who is 1 out of 3.
Nice slider here. Yeah, quick chip shows us Fox tracks. This ball is right on the inside corner. Ties him up. Nice pitch.
2 balls, 2 strikes. John Jaso, by the way, led off for the first time in early June. It was the first time in Rays history a catcher led off. It was the first time he ever led off in his life. And it was the first time since 1976 that a rookie catcher was in a lineup as a leadoff hitter. And the reason is not because of his speed. He has 4 stolen bases on a team that runs all over the place. But it is his eye, his batter's eye. He has a .266 batting average, but with his walks, his on-base percentage is almost .380. So he's going to get on base. Fouls the pitch away. Still 3 balls, 2 strikes. John Jaso, maybe not for the Rays, but for a lot of other people, just came out of nowhere. Looked like the Rays were going to use Deanna Navarro and Kelly Shopik behind the plate this year. Lifted into left center field. Dyson is there, and there's one out in the 8th inning. So as the Royals turn to their bullpen, the Rays getting ready to turn to theirs. And Joaquin Benoit is warming up in the bullpen. He was away from the team back in the Dominican Republic for the birth of his child. So back with the Rays. The Royals have seen him before with the Texas Rangers. A strike on Ben Zobrist. He is 0 for 3. One ball, one strike. And a matchup that favors the Rays. 3 hits and 7 at-bats for Zobrist, and one of those hits is a home run. Out in front, good pitch. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Just good arm action on this, Ryan. Just right underneath the swing, and just great changeup. Just outstanding pitch.
Just a little bit low and inside. Up the left field line, down towards the corner, and just fair. Zobrist into second base with a 1-out double. There was a reaction from the fans down in the left field corner, and Alex Gordon doesn't look like he's convinced that that was a fair ball. We'll get another look. Well, nothing but dirt came up, but Wally Bell is going to disappear on us from that angle. Wally Bell is the third base umpire and said it hit the left edge of the chalk line. And now outside, ball 1 to Carl Crawford.
There are a lot of fans down the left field line that didn't agree with that call, and Alex was somewhat puzzled at the end of that play also.
Crawford 1 out of 3 with a long home run against Zach Greinke in the 4th inning. That was his 18th of the year, tying a career high from 2 years ago. And he swings and just got a piece of it. 1 ball, 1 strike. Wow. Well, it didn't land right on top of the line, but all it has to do is get a piece of the line.
Well, really difficult call from where Wally Bell's standing.
Line to center, and Dyson is there. So Crawford hit it right on the nose, and now Dyson throws to third, and he almost got Zobrist. So the Rays have the tying run at third base with 2 down.
Heads up play by Ben Zobrist at second base, Ryan. Dyson's going into right field to make this catch. Have to turn around and make a throw, so he'd have to be a perfect throw to get him. But Dyson has a strong arm, and I tell you what, a lot of times with teams not taking infield much anymore, they got to rely on their advanced scouts to tell them who can throw and who can't throw, and I think Dyson's arm really surprised a lot of people when they see it for the first time.
So Dan Johnson with a runner at third base and 2 down. 1 ball, no strikes. So it comes down to Tejeda and Johnson is 3 out of 10 against Tejeda. But there's also some pressure on Brian Pena. Make sure nothing in the dirt gets by him. 2 balls and no strikes. Royals got a run in the first, a run in the second, and 1 in the third for an early 3-0 lead. And Tampa Bay with 1 in the fourth and 1 in the seventh. And a slider on 2-0 is in for a strike.
Rory's done a good job of just burying his pitches tonight, Ryan. And this is just really a great, nice pitch right down the middle of the plate. And for a hitter to take that, he's got to be looking for something other than a ball right down the middle, because very few pitchers throw the ball down the middle of the plate.
And there's a save by Pena. 3 balls, 1 strike.
That's say worth his weight in gold.
Dan Johnson has only driven in 23 runs for the Rays this year. But of his last 17, 10 have either tied the game or given the Rays the lead. So he's been clutch lately, and that's why he's batting 4th. A high pop foul is going to land on the other side of the screen. And it's 3-2 on Johnson. Waiting on deck is Carlos Pena, who has 28 home runs this year. And he has a home run in 5 at-bats against Robinson Tejeda. Fouled away again. With 1 out, Ben Zobrist doubled up the left field line and advanced to third on Crawford's line drive to center field. And Johnson strikes out. Great slider down and in. And the Rays leave a runner at third base. So a scoreless 8th for Tejeda, and the Royals lead by 1.
Right now to a 3-2 lead in the bottom of the 8th after the game on Boulevard Royals Live. Paul Splittor joins me to break down this game. First of 4 between the Royals and Rays. We'll talk about Zach Greinke's last start of the year. Also a little talk about Gerard Dyson once again. Speed impacting the game. We'll hear from Ned Yost and get you ready for Bruce Chen's last start of the season. All that and more coming up on Boulevard Royals Live. Ryan?
All right, thank you, Joel. Chevy called to the bullpen for the Rays. It's Dan Wheeler after Matt Garza gave up 3 runs in 7 innings. Royals will send up Billy Butler, Keila Ka'aihue, and Wilson Bedami. at the plate tonight. Billy is 1 for 3 with a first inning single. He's also made one of the better defensive plays of the game tonight at first base on a ground ball from Ben Zobrist back in the top of the 5th inning. One ball, one strike. That is tonight's Chevy play of the game.
A very good play by Billy, Ryan. This is a hard hit ball. He dives to his right, knocks it down, gets to his feet, and gives Zach a nice strike throw chest high to first base. And that's just a quick reactionary play. And the key now is to get up, get it, and get the ball over to first. He did all those things perfectly on that play.
And now Billy hits one in the same direction. A much easier play for Carlos Pena. One away in the bottom of the 8th inning. And Dan Wheeler was called on to face one hitter. And that was right-hand hitting Billy Butler. So Joe Madden comes out. And with Keila Kaihue coming up, Joe Madden will make a pitching change. Series. A lot of it had to do with an improved bullpen, and a big part of their backslide last year, even though they had a winning season, was because the bullpen wasn't as strong, and now the bullpen has bounced back this year. And this is rookie Jake McGee, who was not with the Rays when the Royals were in St. Petersburg very early in the year. He's only making his 7th appearance. He's being called up. But as Joel and I were talking to Joe Madden before the game tonight, he really likes this young lefty out of the Rays system, former 5th-round pick. Big-time strikeouts in the minor leagues, and he has 5 strikeouts in less than 4 innings in the big leagues. He'll get Keila with 1 out and nobody on. One strike on Keila.
He's got a nice, easy delivery. That was an easy 96-mile-an-hour fastball right there.
And the way he throws and comes right at the hitters with his fastball, does he remind you of another left-hand pitcher in our division? Joe Madden brought someone up. It was someone who played for you in the Arizona Fall League. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Oh, Neil Cox?
Nope. Joe Madden thought he looked like Matt Thornton.
Oh, Matt.
Who just comes right at you with his fastball. Keila rips it up the right field line, and that's down to the corner. So Keela's driven into, and now down at second base with his first hit of the night and his 6th double of the year.
The one thing about Keeler, though, he likes the ball on the inner half. So if you can get the ball to the extension side, you got a shot. But when you leave it in the middle end to him, I mean, he just got, look at that perfect form right there. Good extension, head right on the ball. Nice line drive.
So the Royals trying to add on. Right-hander Chad Qualls now throwing behind Jake McGee. And in the Royals bullpen, it's Joaquin Soria. A strike to Wilson Betemit. Soria will get Carlos Pena, Matt Joyce, and B.J. Upton in the 9th inning. Right to Brignac at second base, who pulls it in and throws out Betemit, who is 0 for 4. And Keela moves up to third base. And now a lefty-lefty matchup with Alex Gordon, who is 0 for 3 tonight.
It's one of the things you look at from a young, power-throwing left-hander Ryan is see if you can get the ball to the outside corner to left-handed hitters. If you can't move the ball to the what they call the extension side, then left-handers really will hit a lot better.
Strike one on Alex. One and one. It's interesting reading up on Jake McGee and Baseball America, which was really the first publication to keep a close eye on minor league players. One year, McGee was the 23rd best prospect in the Rays organization. And a couple years after that, he became the 3rd best prospect. And I asked Joe Madden about that before the game tonight. And he said he started throwing strikes.
That's a tough pitch.
There are plenty of guys in the minor leagues who never get close to the big leagues who throw hard, but nowhere near the strike zone. Alex breaks his bat and Bartlett runs it down. So we go to the 9th inning. Royals lead by 1. 7th inning, 3-2 Royals, and Joakim Soria going for his 36th consecutive save. He has a streak of 22 2/3 consecutive scoreless innings. And the first pitch is fouled away by Carlos Pena. So it's the 5th, 6th, and 7th hitters coming up for Tampa Bay. Zach Greinke trying to beat Tampa Bay for the first time in his career, and he gave the Royals 7 innings, giving up only 2 runs, only 4 hits, and he struck out 9. Robinson Tejeda got around a 1-out double in the 8th. Cutter over the inside, and it's 0-2 on Pena. Pena has flied to left twice tonight and struck out swinging. His 156th strikeout of the year. Back to Soria. And over to Butler for out number 1. The Royals are the only team in Major League Baseball that have not lost a game this year when they've had a lead after 8 innings.
I would say that's very impressive because number 48,
the Mexicutioner, as he got his nickname last year, fouled away by Matt Joyce. I like to call him Senor Fresco, Mr. Cool, because it doesn't matter what's going on around him, man. He holds it together as good as anyone.
You can never tell. You're right, Ryan. Just about as expressionless as they come.
Through the right side, a base hit for Matt Joyce. That's his 2nd hit. So Soria going for his 43rd save overall, and the only closer who has more saves than Soria this year is the Rays closer, Rafael Soriano.
Well, that is true, Ryan. Well, Matt Joyce, once he gets his arms extended on the outside, he's able to pull this ball back in the right field. And it's never the good fastball. It's a cutter on the outside corner that came into the bat.
This is Desmond Jennings, the top position player prospect for the Rays. He's going to run for Matt Joyce over at first base, and B.J. Upton is at the plate. Fouled away, 0-1. Upton is 1 out of 3. Doubled back in the 7th inning. Stole 3rd and scored on a sacrifice fly. Three at-bats for Upton against Soria, and only one time has he been able to put the ball in play.
Well, the Rays have been able to have a good season, Ryan, from a record standpoint, but they have a lot of guys that really underachieved on the batting average side, and they've been able to make up for it with their pitching and their defense, and that they got to have a lot of timely hitting in there, because you look at you look at a guy like B.J. Upton. I mean, look at the times that he could probably be on base, steal bases, a lot of missed opportunities when you look at his batting average. He was one of the central figures when he was leading off for their ball club.
It's a little strange seeing him batting 7th for the Rays. And that's drilled into right center field, and Dyson runs it down again. With a triple, and he has saved 2 extra base hits late in the game tonight, running into deep right center field.
I'll tell you what, he gets those legs going, Ryan. He made this play look a lot easier than it was. about 16 steps right there. Covered a lot of ground in 16 steps.
Man. So instead of second and third and one out, or maybe worse, the tying run is still at first base with 2 outs, and Soria throws strike one to Reed Brignac. So 2 innings ago on Brignac's sacrifice fly, Dyson made a great play. That was to the warning track, and now he runs down a line drive from B.J. Upton. No balls, 2 strikes. Remember a few nights ago against Minnesota, Gerard Dyson made an excellent play in the 2nd inning against the Twins, and then in the 9th inning, Jay Miller made a great play in right field with Michael Kadire at the plate. Jennings is running, and because of the rainbow curveball, no chance at all for Pena to throw down to second base. So Desmond Jennings is at second base with his 2nd stolen base. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Brignac. Brignac has only faced Soria once before tonight, and he's 0 for 1. And reaching out, hitting a 2-hopper to Mike Aviles, and the Royals take game 1 from Tampa Bay. So the Royals have a 3-1 homestand, and Tampa Bay falls back into a tie atop the American League East with the Yankees. So Joakim Soria, with the help of great defense turned in by Gerard Dyson, has his 36th consecutive save, and now a new career high with 43 saves on the year. And he helped Zach Greinke in his final start for the Royals this year beat the Tampa Bay Rays for the first time in his career. So a good night all around for the Royals tonight.
Well, you saw it all tonight, Ryan. You saw Keelan grabbing 2 runs without the benefit of a base hit. You saw Dyson's speed on the bases on his triple, and you saw his speed on defense. And you win close ball games like this with good teams. Yet when you put all those 3 together.
3-2 Royals. Let's go down to Joel.
All right, Ryan, thank you very much. Got a couple of guests down here on the field. Let's start with Joakim Soria, a career high 43 saves. A great season for you so far with a few games to go. What does 43 saves and a career high mean?
Well, it means a lot to me, but we still got the win. It's the most important thing, and I'm glad to be that number, and just keep going.
All right, I know that pitchers love to have guys that can play great defense. What's it like to have a young center fielder that can absolutely fly like that out there late in the game?
Well, it's he made a terrific play today, and it's good to have a good defense to help us.
All right, congratulations, Joakim. All right, that is Joakim Soria, career high 43 saves in a season, and a guy that is just starting his career, and don't blink because you might miss him running around the field, Gerard Dyson. First off, tell me how much pride you take in that defense, stealing a couple of big hits late in the game.
I take a lot of pride in my defense, you know. I just work hard every day, you know, early work, and it's just paying off out there, you know, going to get balls in the gap to help the guys on the team, you know. That's what I'm about, defense.
It seems like every time we have you in an interview, we're talking about speed. But what about just the impact it can have offensively, defensively, even got them to throw the ball around a little bit?
You know, when my offense is clicking, you know, great things might happen, you know.
Okay, tonight with the triple. Final thing, you're a 50th round draft pick. Here you are, the lights, the big stadiums, and you got all the Royals pitcher and players of the year from the different minor league levels here. What would you say to them as they dream of being here on the spotlight one day?
I just tell them, you know, this is where you want to be, you know. This is what you fight for. This is what you dream for, you know. Getting here is just a blessing, you know.
Great job tonight, Gerard.
Thank you.
All right, that is Gerard Dyson. Quickly, guys, becoming a fan favorite as he tips the cap. The former 50th round draft pick getting it done. Let's go upstairs to Ryan.